So welcome back. In today's video, we are going to look at what we call method overriding in Java. So we saw what is method overloading, but today we're going to see what is method overriding. So I'll create two classes. I'll create a class called calc, and I'll create a class called advanced calc. Now inside the class called calc, I'll put a method. I'll say void add. Now this method, I'll say it is return an integer. Yeah, void method return. Let me say num1. I want this to be dynamic. Num2. Going to pass these as parameters. This should be integers plus comma and int num2, something like this. So I'm having this calc. I'm having this class called calc, and inside the class I'm having my method called add. So I'll come here down. Let me say this advanced calculator is extending. Let me say I want this to use this method in my advanced calculator. I will say extends advanced calc extends attributes of the normal calculator. So when I come here down, I will say I'll call the advanced calc. I'll create a new instance for the advanced calc. Say object to new instance for advanced calc. I'll use this instance that I've created. I'm doing this first because we already saw this in the previous video. Object dot add. I'll pass 3 and I'll pass, let me say, 4. Now here we are expecting like 7, but see what I'm doing. I have called a new instance for this, and I have managed to access the attributes of its parent class from the calc class, because simply it is extending. If it extends, if this advanced class manages to extend the calc, which is the parent class, it will automatically attributes of the parent class can be accessed in the child class. So let me compile this Java demo Java. I'm expecting a 7 down here. Oh sorry, return. Oh sorry, I have to give here. I'll say int result is equal to, yeah, I have to save it into a variable system.out print out result. So when I compile and run again, I'm expecting a 7. Yeah, in this case, this is a 7. Now, what if I want to, if you see here, if you see this closely, I'm using an addition from the calc class, which is my parent class. But what if I want also, let me say, add. I want also, let me say, I want to subtract, let me say subtract. Now inside return num1 plus num2. Then inside here I'll pass arguments num1, comma, and num2. These are all integers. So when I come down here, so to use this sub here, I'm subtracting. So to use this sub method, I will do the same thing here. I will say int result1 is equal to object dot sub. In this case, my sub is expecting, let me say 10 minus let me say 5 in this case. So instead of printing out R, I'll come down here and I print out R1, then I save. So let me compile. when I manage to compile, you see that I'm getting a 7 and a 5 in this case. A 7 is coming from this method that I created, and a 5 is coming from the sub method. But when you see closely, a 7 is coming from the main or the parent class, and the sub is coming from the child class. But what if you don't want both of them? What if you want one? Or take an instance, what if you want to add and the method you are using is not from the parent class but from the child class? What will you use? They have introduced a method called Java helped us with that new feature called overriding. You can override a method, a parent method, and you can override its attributes. So what if I want to add? In this case, here I'll say add this case. So when I remove this, I can remove this and this. What will happen? So let me compile. You see, Java dot. So to explain a little bit, what will Java do? Java introduced that method, that new feature called overriding, whereby a child class, this is our parent class, and this is our child class. A child class, if you automatically add the same method, which is inside our parent class, what will Java do? Java will override this method here for the parent class, and it will use this one for the child class. Remember what I explained. Java, what will Java do? Java will do what we call overriding. It will override the method, the add method inside the parent class, and it will execute the child class method. So when I compile, I'm expecting to get 7. Why? Because now this is somehow confusing, because even this was bringing out 7. So what I will do is that to differentiate this add and this, I will say +1 to show you that this method is the one overriding the parent class. So when I compile and run, you see that I'm getting 8 simply because I have added 3 plus 7, and on 3 plus 7 I have added this one to get the result as add. Simply Java is overriding this method from the parent class, and it is using the method from the child class, which is called method overriding. But you see here we are using the same method names, but we are getting different results. So the difference between a method overloading, the one we saw earlier, is that we can use the same method names and the same parameters, but for method overriding, we can use the same names but different parameters. That's the funny thing, or that's the interesting thing. So I can take this more further. So what if I have what if in this case we are seeing that we are getting 8, meaning this is overriding this. But what if I also want this class here, the method in the parent class, to also show out in the console? What will I do? Remember the super keyword that we used? Yeah, we shall use that one. Remember, the super class helps us to access methods or variables from the parent class. So I'll come here and say here in my method, I will say before returning, I want you to call the super keyword. Then in the super keyword, I want you to go to the super class and help me access the add, like this, something like this. So what will this do? This will automatically, when I run and compile, we are still getting 1. I can pass here attributes, let's say 9 and like 20 to get 29. So when I run and compile, you see that, oh, I'm still getting 8. Something is wrong. In this case, what I will do is that I'm still getting 8. So what I will do is that I will come save this into a variable. I'll say int my result, my super class result, which is equal to super. Then in this case, what I'll do is that because I wanted to print out, or I want to print out two of these two classes, I want to print out the add in the child and the add in the parent. So I'll say print out my super method. So when I compile this again, run, I'll be able to access the two, the one from the parent and the one from the child, simply because here I'm passing 3 and 4 to the instance of the child, and here by using the super keyword I'm able to access attributes in the parent class. That's why I'm passing 9 and 20. So when you add 9 and 20 you get 29, and when you add 3 and 4 you get 8. But here I'm able to get 8 because I'm adding a 1 here. So simply what method overriding does is that it helps you. Let me first comment out this. What method overriding helps you is that a parent class can have the same methods inside. The parent class can have the same method inside the child class, but what will Java do after you creating a new instance for this child class? Java will automatically override the method in your parent class, meaning this method, the add method in your child class, is the one going to be executed, and this will be left out. So that's what we call method overriding. So the difference between method overloading and method overriding is that for method overloading, you can have the same names and the same argument. But for method overriding, you can have the same names but different arguments. So that's what we call method overriding for today. But keep in mind, method overriding does not work on static methods or on static variables. Automatically, if I come and use this keyword called static, this won't be accepted. Method overriding only works on non-static methods. Yeah, so that's simply what we refer to as method overriding. Thank you very much.